in your family, which are all very strange according to my students. I'll give you a little taste. So we had a story, a rather existential reverie of a pencil talking to an eraser. A hypothetical tale asking the question, what if Governor School really wasn't Governor School, but was in fact Fat Camp? And if you read the story, it makes you wonder. But mostly stories about families. There were stories about fathers who sleepwalk and tattoo themselves. Non-fiction. Stories about close relatives who smoke illegal substances at the Piggly Wiggly. And it was so funny because the students, I'd say, well, can we read, are your parents going to be at class tonight? And they would say, yeah, maybe we shouldn't read my piece. They'd pull me aside, can we change my name? So we selected 3 as a class to give you a good representative sample, and we'll start off with our first, and let us welcome Lemuel Tsang.
My name is Lemuel Tsang, and this piece is titled, A Few of My Father's Obsessions. Brian K. Tsang, M.D. is what's written in lacy font on the little gold plaque that stands proudly on my father's desk. I suppose that it's a testament to both his ingenuity and commitment, 2 attributes that seem to drive his every move. Unfortunately, it tends to lead him in some of the strangest directions. The first time I saw this for myself was in the aftermath of Hurricane Ivan, a hurricane that, in actuality, didn't do much damage to my home in Biloxi. But immediately after we returned from evacuation, my father went into what I like to call squirrel mode. He bought a $1,000 generator, he stockpiled enough water to fill Lake Superior, and my father, who had always refused to eat preserved food because he's terrified of cancer, went on such a canned food shopping spree that when the store he had gone to ran out of canned tuna, he proceeded to go on to the pet food section and buy even more canned tuna. So we ended up simply eating enough canned food to feed all the starving children in Ethiopia. But it doesn't stop there. My father is a lover of information. He often applies himself to his computer for 5 hours at a time, reading about things like the physics of light rays penetrating polarized sunglasses, or the anti-cancer benefits of eating mushrooms. And it was learning about this last subject that caused my cancer-phobic father to go into what I like to call his mushroom farmer mode. Lemuel, come here! Yeah, Dad? Do you know how to grow mushrooms? No. Well, now is the perfect opportunity to learn. I know you're busy, but how much free time do you have this week? None. I have AP exams next week. Well, growing mushrooms will be relaxing, so take a break from studying to help me. He started off by ordering crates of easy grow mushrooms. Then he called on my brothers and me to excavate the crates and discover the secrets behind cultivating mushrooms. We read up on how to grow mushrooms and realized that the bags of confetti that had been inside the crates had actually been the mushroom equivalents of gardens, and that they weren't supposed to be used for mulch for my grandmother's tomato garden. Not that we did anything like that, of course. Anyway, we planted the confetti bags in our sinks and watered them often in hopes of many, many mushrooms. And we got many, many mushrooms. In fact, we were so successful that my father decided that we should use a fallen tree which had been recently struck by lightning as fuel for even more mushrooms. So my father charged me with hauling a pecan tree, maybe 30 feet tall and 4 feet wide, off of our driveway and boring holes into it so that we could plant the mushrooms into the wood. As to how, my father neither knew nor cared, because I'm Asian. I should be able to do anything with my head and a little bit of physics. With a little help, I did manage to move the million-pound obstruction that was hogging up our driveway, but I had a small problem after that. You see, our power tools were not power enough to create the holes in the pecan tree that I needed to plant the mushrooms. So I decided to use a nail plus hammer combination to stab holes into the wood. This worked well for the first 10 minutes. After that, I realized several things. First, the holes were not big enough. Second, I would probably have to work for the next month in order to get enough holes in the tree. And third, I noticed that I no longer had the use of my hands due to the sadistic smashing of them by my hammer. Luckily for me, my father very quickly lost interest in mushroom farming, so I never did have to figure out a way to bore holes into that tree. Unluckily, he moved into a phase that I like to call his pyromaniac mode. He decided that the previously mentioned pecan tree should be terminated, and that the most efficient way to accomplish this was through a controlled inferno. And upon destroying the pecan tree, God apparently came down from the heavens and showed my father his destiny, because he proceeded to go on a wood-burning rampage. My father decided that the tree stumps on our land were harassing him simply by being tree stumps. So he told my brothers and me to build circles of bricks around each tree stump on our property. Once we finished, my father went to Home Depot and bought enough firewood to build a second Home Depot. With that firewood, he started up the flames that he maintained for weeks until all that remained of the stumps were the piles of ashes that my brothers and I shoveled into my grandmother's garden for weeks thereafter. So over the years, I've come to realize that this is just how my dad is. His two most outstanding attributes, his intelligence and devotion, cause him to have episodes of madness when he has an often insane goal that he pursues for unknowable amounts of time. Luckily, though, his episode of madness to pursue the absolutely insane goal of raising children has persisted over the last 17 years.
I was cracking up backstage. I hope you don't consider my working laugh. Excuse me again, I apologize. All right, next we will have Miss Abigail Voller with her magazine publishing Dead Like Rome or Rising Like a Phoenix.